It was just another Tuesday for Mark, which meant another day of juggling. Juggling his job as a freelance graphic designer, juggling the school run for his 7-year-old daughter, Lily, and juggling the ever-growing pile of bills on his kitchen table. Being a single dad was the best and hardest job he'd ever had. Some days, the weight of it all felt like a physical ache in his chest. He'd look at Lily with her bright, trusting eyes, and a wave of determination would wash over him. He had to make it work. For her. That morning, the sky was a bruised purple-gray, threatening a downpour. Mark was rushing to drop Lily at school before heading to a meeting with a potential client, a meeting that could either be a lifeline or another dead end. As they hurried down the street, Lily holding his hand tightly, the heavens opened up, torrential, relentless rain. They huddled under the small awning of a closed bakery, the sound of the rain drumming a frantic beat on the metal above them. Mark checked his watch, anxiety creeping in. He was going to be late. Just then, he saw her. Out. An elderly woman, her face etched with worry, standing beside her car. The front tire was completely flat. She held a flimsy, broken umbrella that was doing little to shield her from the deluge. Cars swished past, sending up plumes of dirty water, but no one stopped. Everyone was in their own world, rushing to escape the storm. Mark looked at her, then at his watch again. The meeting, the money, the rent that was due next week. Every logical part of his brain screamed at him to keep going, to focus on his own problems. But then he saw the woman's shoulders slump in defeat, and something inside him shifted. He thought of his own mother, who lived 3 states away. He thought about how he'd want someone to help her if she were in this situation. He looked down at Lily, who was watching the scene with wide, curious eyes. What kind of man did he want to be in her eyes? A man who rushed past someone in need, or a man who stopped to help? The answer was simple. "Hey, sweetie," he said, turning to Lily. "Looks like that lady needs some help. How about we be superheroes for a minute?" Lily's face lit up. Yeah, superheroes. He took a deep breath, handed Lily his phone to play a game under the awning, and said, "Stay right here, okay? Daddy will be right back." Then, pulling the hood of his jacket over his head, he stepped out into the storm and walked toward the woman. "Ma'am, looks like you've got a flat," he said, his voice almost drowned out by the rain. She looked up startled, water dripping from her silver hair. "Oh yes, I don't know what to do. My phone died, and I can't reach my son." Her voice trembled slightly. "Don't you worry," Mark said with a reassuring smile, though he was already soaked to the bone. "I can change a tire. Let me take a look." He found the spare and the jack in her trunk. The work was messy and difficult. The lug nuts were stuck fast, and the cold rain seeped into his clothes, chilling him to the core. But as he worked, he glanced over at Lily, who was giving him a thumbs up from under the awning. That was all the warmth he needed. After about 20 minutes of grunting and wrestling with the tire, it was done. He was covered in grime and completely drenched, but the flat tire was replaced with the spare. The woman, whose name was Eleanor, couldn't stop thanking him. "I don't know how to repay you, young man. You're an angel sent from heaven." "It's no problem at all," Mark said, wiping his greasy hands on his jeans. "Just glad I could help. You'll be safe now." He started to walk away, ready to grab Lily and try to salvage what was left of his morning. "Wait," Eleanor called out. She fumbled in her purse and pulled out a crisp $100 bill. "Please, take this. For your time. For your kindness." Mark looked at the money. That $100 would mean groceries for 2 weeks. It would be a huge relief, but it didn't feel right. He hadn't helped her for money. He had helped because it was the right thing to do. "No, I can't," he said, shaking his head. "Please, just pay it forward sometime." Eleanor looked at him, her eyes welling up. "My late husband always said the measure of a person is what they do when no one is watching. You, sir, are a good man." She insisted he at least take her business card. "If you ever need anything at all, you call me." "I mean it." To be polite, Mark took the small, elegant card and tucked it into his wet pocket, not giving it a second thought. He gathered Lily, who hugged his leg tightly, and they ran home, the client meeting long forgotten. He'd lost a potential job, but he'd gained something far more valuable in his daughter's eyes. Weeks turned into a month. The freelance world was tough. The client from that rainy day had gone with someone else. Mark was back to scraping by, taking on small, low-paying jobs just to keep the lights on. The financial pressure was immense. One evening, after putting Lily to bed, he He sat at his desk, his head in his hands, feeling the familiar sting of despair. He was trying his best, but it felt like he was drowning. While cleaning out his wallet, he found it the damp, crinkled business card Eleanor had given him. Eleanor Vance, CEO Vance Innovations. CEO. He'd been so focused on the rain and the tire that he hadn't even processed what she did. Curiosity piqued. He looked up the company. It was one of the biggest tech firms in the city. He stared at the card. It felt audacious to even consider calling. What would he say? "Hi, remember me? The guy who changed your tire in the rain? Can you help me?" It felt wrong. But then he thought of Lily sleeping peacefully in the next room. He had to try everything. Swallowing his pride, he picked up the phone and dialed the number. Polite assistant answered. Mark explained who he was, fully expecting to be brushed off, but to his surprise, he was put right through. "Mark." Eleanor's voice was warm and full of energy. "I felt so bad that I never got to properly thank you. How are you? How is your adorable daughter?" Mark was taken aback by her genuine enthusiasm. They talked for a few minutes, and Mark, feeling surprisingly comfortable, found himself opening up about his struggles as a freelance graphic designer. "Graphic design, you say?" Eleanor said, a new excitement in her voice. "Mark, this might be fate. We've been looking for a new lead designer for our marketing department for months. We haven't found anyone with the right blend of creativity and heart. I think you might be just who we're looking for." Mark was speechless. Could this be real? The next day, he had an interview at Vance Innovations. It wasn't just an interview. It was a conversation. He showed them his portfolio, his passion for his work shining through. He met the team. He felt a sense of belonging he hadn't felt in years. 2 days later, Eleanor called him herself. "Mark," she said, "the team loved you. We'd like to offer you the position of lead graphic designer." The salary they offered was more than he had ever dreamed of. It meant stability. It meant he could give Lily the life she deserved without the constant cloud of financial worry. It meant everything. On his first day, Eleanor took him aside. "I never told you this," she said softly, "but the day you stopped to help me was the anniversary of my husband's passing. I was feeling so lost and alone. Your kindness, ... It was like a sign from him, a reminder that there is still so much good in the world. You didn't just change my tire, Mark. You restored my faith." Mark's life was transformed, all because of one simple choice on a rainy day. He chose kindness when it would have been easier to walk away. He chose to help someone else, even when he was struggling himself. That small act of compassion rippled outwards, creating a wave of blessings that came back to him in the most unexpected and beautiful way. It's a powerful reminder for all of us. You never know how your one small act of kindness might change someone's world, or how it might come back to change your own. Be the reason someone believes in the goodness of people. You might just find that the kindness you give away is the greatest gift you'll ever receive. Thanks for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more inspiration.